Hello, everybody. We ready for the reading for the week of October 10th? I'm having my mocha. First, I want to kind of tell everybody how my week went after we had that reading. I said I was going to try it because I was going to write bills and I was kind of scared of it. And just my in-depth soul or in-depth journaling, I wrote down how my body felt. I was nervous. My hands were shaking. This is when I was going to balance my checkbook. I breathed into it. Then I could feel my upper abs kind of get constricted. So I know I was fearful and powerless. My hands again were nervous, so anxiety. And then my throat kind of felt giddy, like my higher self was coming in. And I think what she was saying is you have post-traumatic stress syndrome from the past. Like I said earlier, I had been homeless. I had lost money, all those kinds of, those horrible things. As a result, I lost a job. And I was living in New Mexico, and it was a political coup type thing. That's fine. Anyway, at the time, I was ready to throw myself off the Rio Grande Bridge because I had nothing. So it's something I'm still working through, obviously. And then I heard my dad's voice, and he always kind of was a very chiding, needling, at least with me, and kind of very humiliating type language. And he just said, "Jesus, Susan, you're being," I wrote it down, "you're being silly." He was chiding me, so then not only did I feel fearful, then I felt his ridicule and his humiliation, which again goes to what happened when I didn't have a job. I had gone through all my savings. My son had left. I had no home. I had everything in my car. And then I heard my higher self, which was more like a little girl. And she kind of held my hands and stood up. And then she stood up in front of my dad and put her hands out like this, repelling the words. And then the child sat back with a piece of paper and wrote down all the bills she had to pay. And my higher self said, taking her hands and saying, "First, let's say thank you, thank you, thank you for all the money I have to pay therapists, vets, bills, physical therapy, gas, food, mortgage, car repairs this month." So I put down all my bills. Well, all of a sudden, I went into my account, and again, like it said, things were going to be harder, and I was going to get frustrated, and I was going to have to learn patience. So first, I go into my checking account, and I can't get in. The system's down. So then I have to reset my password. I do all that, and I find out that I have more money than I thought I would. Okay, so did that. Then I thought, oh, that gratefulness made a difference. I made that shift back to enough. So it changed my fear into gratitude, and I was able to pay my bills. So I wanted to share that with you. After our reading last week, I said, oh, I'm nervous because I got to deal with this. And after the reading, and that's what I said, it's the shifts that we've got to make. And I reached out and got those for my higher self. So let's see what's on the plate for this week. The present situation is imagine. Imagine what we want to manifest. We were born with imagination, and a lot of times what we do is we hone in on what we don't have, again, going back to gratefulness, but to kind of imagine what we want to manifest. So in other words, visualize it so that, and again, the visualization creates the feeling we want with that manifestation, whether it's respect, admiration, happiness, joy. And the next card, the challenge we're going to have, is it's upside down and it's mending. We're going to want to fix things because now we have this imagination of of what we want to create, this visualization. So the first thing we're going to want to do is start mending, start taking where we are and where we want to be and putting steps into place to get that. And I will tell you, I journaled today myself, and I have what I would call business guide. And instead of looking at things where you want to be in your life, which is imagination, where you want to be in your life, what do you want to feel when it's all said and done, and what you want to accomplish, what you want to feel, who you want to be with, that's way in the future at the very end. But this mending to me means, after reading what I got today, is don't try to do anything really crazy to get there, like lose a job. Don't, quit it. Don't move, those kinds of things real drastically. Just figure out in the next year things that you could create or steps you could do that would get you towards this in the next few years. And like for me, it was, okay, I'm trying to get a curriculum done for show and tell. My in-depth journaling is, okay, renew, if they allow me, my contract so you can finish what you set out to do with them, even though it's not really in my heart anymore. Do that. Set out to finish that. Also, finish. I want to finish my house because Airbnb brings me money, which isn't my ultimate goal, but it will supplement when a year from now I am not working at my job. Finish. Those were the three things, and also discipline. Discipline, because I've been worried not about my health, but I want to improve my physical vitality and so forth. Is my other spirit guide came in, who is more a creative, disciplined person who does creativity, but is very disciplined and structured. And he said, let's talk about what you can do, like 3 days a week swim, 2 days a week do your physical therapy, 1 day a week socialize. Instead of like getting distracted by all the pretty things you can do that. The other thing, mending, that is challenging is many times, especially me, when we are on the right path towards our mission to where this imaginative world, where we want to be manifesting, along the way, and I think we had this card last week, along the way, the people that have been in our tribe, mostly family, your roles will change. The way you act, the way you respond will change. You won't be, a good example is, and I love them to death, but like my siblings have grandchildren, they're real excited about them, which is great. But I don't feel like they do about them. And I've been kind of grieving that, like when I'm saying grieving, what's wrong with me? And so should I change? Should I what? I'm just in a different space. I'm more of a community person than I am a clan person. That's all it is. And so don't try to mend all those. My best friend, who's also my cousin, we've become distant. Part of me wants to reach out and, deal with it. But the other part of me says, why? We're both happy. We're both content. It's just that we're not where we were before in our relationship. And I'm happy. She's happy. We're happy for each other, I think. But she doesn't want to go deep. I'm a person that likes to go deep. That's all. So my challenge is not to try to keep mending things. The next thing is the foundation. Is the reason is we all have a choice, and I don't want to keep going around and around in the same story, the same cycle, because I know what I'll get, right? And I mean, I know what the outcome is because I've been there. And again, the visualization helps you kind of know the direction, setting up slow steps this year, the next year you can do, or the next 12 months, that will stabilize you, especially since we're in a very unstable time. Just kind of stabilize it so when curveballs come, you have maybe a little strategic plan coming so that you aren't keep going around and around in the same story and getting the same outcome. The past is, which I thought was really interesting, was poised. And it's interesting that it came up in the past. Normally I would see that as the highest, but it is the past, which I find is really interesting. And so I guess for me, it means that in the past I was poised, or let me back up. Our past experiences, our past lives going to this round and round, this story, since we don't want to continue it, we are poised to make the change. I mean, and when you get poised, it means you've got all the talents, all the strengths, all the skill set, even the people in your life poised to help, and spirit to help you get there. So you're not into your different storyline. Because right now, that's where we are. Because the highest is going to be to the sea flow. Is that things, the real goal is not so much the achievement, but things flow towards you that you need, and things that people want and will connect you with them just flow out of you. You exude an energy that brings the right people into you, and you have your tribe. So that's for this week. So it'll be kind of interesting. What's around the corner? And I don't think you're going to manifest all your desires on 1 week, but you're starting on how we've been the last few weeks on these transitions and going through all these different, I would say challenging times, the growth times. If we've made it and we've done some of these things like staying in the uncomfortable, saying, okay, so part of life is just to stay in this discomfort of not knowing, not doing. That we are now into the next, I'm not going to say next chapter, but on the path to the next chapter. What's next around the corner? So this week would be Truth Be Told. Oh, sorry, I think I may be going out. Is Truth Be Told is that I'm not going to say your truth, that there's lies or deceit, but you're not afraid. Like when I go into my contract negotiations, I am just going to say to them, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but nor am I going to be bad, but just say, I would like to stay another year to accomplish these things so that the next person that you hire isn't having to deal with a building that's falling down and a wastewater treatment facility that needs to be built and an economic development, that they can start out with a clean slate to bring them up to the next level. The next card is Unfinished Symphony. To me, that just means that, again, when I said my mending when we were here was, for me, was to finish things, not, that'll get me towards not the same round and round cycle, because what I have a habit of doing, and I can't speak for everybody else, but we get what I call to the middle, where, it's been real exciting. We started, it's a real, we're really excited about getting towards a goal, or or for me, writing a story or whatever. And then again, that middle and it's muck, and I don't really want to finish it. I want to go on to that because I want the excitement back, right? And this is saying to us, no, finish what we started. We have a lot on our plate. Finish it, whether it's, we eventually want to change careers, finish out this. You have tasks that you can finish. Um, you know, your houses, your immediate year goals that you need to get done right now. Clean your house, all those things that we put off. Like me, I'm putting in new windows this week, and trying to don't start new things, but try to finish what's already on your what we call works in progress. And that's what you're going to be spending, not just this week on, but the next 6 months to a year. Co-create. What this means is that Spirit is co-creating with you. So sometimes why when we're in unfinished symphony, the reason it's unfinished is it gets boring and gets hard. It's just forced, right? And we've got to work through that forced, because that's what gets us into the flow again. But Spirit will be helping us by making it not feel so much like work. It will be more of like a challenge, like, oh, let's see how this all works. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Be curious. We'll step back so we can be curious, not so much controlling it. Controlling how it works is more curious. And the final card that we should expect is To Be Fair. And you'll see it's a woman with the Justice cards. And when I get this card, a lot of times it means that for me to remember that, yes, that there's a balance, and of good and bad, that justice for all. But what it really means to me is that we need to balance actions with consequences, thoughts with consequences, so that we know for whatever happens or whatever we do or say will have a boomerang effect. So it balances the scales. That's what I usually feel when I get that. So anyway, that is the reading for the week, and I hope it's helped you. Thank you.